Welcome to Birdseeds. As always, thank you for listening. Today, we're going to kind of follow up with last week's episodes where we talked about self-inflicted limitations. If you remember, sometimes it can be hard to touch your toes from standing with your eyes open, but when you close them, you can touch your toes almost always. And the analogy there that's just our brains holding us back because of our fears. And I heard some quotes recently, and they were pretty impactful. I kind of wish I had heard them and implemented them to the old episode because they really fit along, but that's okay. We're going to implement it into a follow-up episode. But there are two quotes from Henry Ford that I found absolutely inspirational and fitting to this. So we'll kind of go through those here. The first quote that I heard from Henry Ford, and of course you know who Henry Ford is. He created Ford Motor Cars. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Let that sit in. Whether you think you can, you're right, because you think you can. If you think you can't, you're right, because your mindset won't let you do it. So whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. Love that. And that kind of ties right back into last week's episode, right? It's all about ourselves. Everything starts and ends with us. We go as far as we allow ourselves to go. We will self-sabotage ourselves with the fear of failure, etc. So believe in yourself. Believe in what you can do. If you truly believe in it, there's no stopping you. I believe that 100%. So believe in yourself, because if you don't, who else will? And if you don't believe in yourself, you're never going to accomplish anything, or at least what you set out to do. So there's another amazing quote from Henry Ford. Any man can learn anything he will, but no man can teach except to those who want to learn. Think about that one. Let's take that backwards. Or let's just take it frontwards again. Any man can learn anything he will, but no man can teach except to those who want to learn. So I can learn anything I want, right? There's nothing that stops me from going to learn whatever I want to learn. I can pull up Google and Google something. I can read a book. I can ask questions. I can seek people out for advice. I can learn anything that I set my heart's desire. Anything that I believe I can learn, I can learn. And I'm a pretty good teacher. That's one of the things. One of the reasons I like doing this is I love teaching. But I can't teach something to somebody that doesn't want to learn it. I can only teach something to somebody that wants to learn. So what's the most important part of that? It's the wanting to learn. Because if you want to learn, you're going to get taught. But if you don't want to learn, nobody can teach you anything. That kind of takes me back. I've talked about it on the podcast before about why I love teaching and how that I learn more when I teach than when I'm taught. And it's because it puts me in that, when I need to teach something, I need to not only learn it and understand it, I need to learn it and understand it so well that I can teach it to somebody else. And what pushes me to just dig that little bit deeper than learning it, just generally learning it, but learning enough to teach it, is the fact that I want to learn because I want to teach it. Now, if I can figure out how to just get that a little bit more without having to teach it, well, it's unstoppable, right? But that's why when I teach something, I learn more, because I have to understand it all the way through in order to be able to teach it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely, absolutely love it. You know, Henry Ford, I'm sure I don't know a whole lot about Henry Ford as far as all of his details in society and whatever. Back in those days, I'm sure people did things that weren't great. But I think he's inspirational, obviously famous for, creating Ford Motor Car Company, revolutionized the factory process and the lines and being able to manufacture. We know history. It's not necessarily the person that built it the best. It's not necessarily the product that was built the best. It's the person that built it the best, right? So the combination of quality, speed, and cost, I think, are the three critical points there. And it's the person that balances those three things the best as they are the most successful in life. And obviously Ford is known for that. There's a ton of motor car companies that didn't make it, and there are plenty that did. But, from a business standpoint, I think there's a lot that we can learn from Henry Ford. So again, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. This has been Birdseeds. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful day.